Hello, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. So this is the online open day session for Jewellers Academy Brighton for the diploma in silver jewellery. So in the session tonight or today, wherever you are in the world, I'm going to be sharing a bit about what you can expect from the diploma in silver jewellery at Brighton, run through how it works, answer any questions. So if you're joining me live, and you can do come and say hi in the chat, maybe let me know where you're tuning in from. And I'd also love to know if you guys have made any jewelry before. It doesn't matter if you haven't, everyone is welcome here. And come however you like. You can have screens on, screens off. You can be in your pajamas. You can be eating pizza in the background. It's very relaxed. So we're just happy to have you guys here and excited to share a bit more about the diploma with you. So Sam is with me. Sam works with us at Jewellers Academy Brighton. Hi, Sam. So she will also be in the chat answering any questions and giving support if needed. And yeah, I'm just excited to share about the projects and get into the jewelry making. So Lisa is here. Hi, Lisa, welcome. Megan is joining from Eastbourne. Lovely. Welcome, Megan. Great to have you here. Yeah, all righty. I will just pull up my slides, but feel free to use the chat anytime if you want to say hi. Like I said, ask questions. There's no such thing as a silly question, and everyone is welcome. So Zoom has moved around a bit, but Sam, can you confirm, can you see my slides? Awesome, brilliant, thank you. All righty, so we'll get stuck in. So like I mentioned, today's session is the diploma in silver jewelry, and we have quite a few intakes each year, which is exciting. And we've been running this course since we opened last year, so we've had a few people complete the diploma and a few cohorts on it at the moment. And it's just so wonderful to have jewelers in the studio in person with us training. So what is the Diploma in Silver Jewellery? It's a 1-year complete training for jewelers. So we start at the beginning. So you can be a beginner or you can have made some jewelry before, which is why I was a bit curious as to where everyone's at. But it is absolutely open to total newbies. So if you've never done anything before, we will start at the beginning, showing you what the tools are, how to get set up on your bench, how to put a saw blade in a saw frame, starting with piercing, all of that. But then we quite quickly move forward and get you up to a professional speed. So the goal of this course is to train you to become a professional jeweler. And what that means is that you can make all the general things that you would need to do to run your own jewelry business or to work in the jewelry trade. So you'll learn how to make wedding rings, engagement rings. You'll learn how to work with gold. You'll learn how to become proficient at soldering, sawing, polishing and finishing, all of the key elements that you're going to need to kind of put you in good stead for starting your own business or going to work for someone else or a mixture of the two. And it's also great fun. So it's always a great year. So anyone who doesn't know me, big welcome. I'm Jess. I'm the founder of Jewellers Academy. I started my jewelry journey when I was 19 and I fell in love with jewelry making and decided that it was all I ever wanted to do, and started making and selling jewelry in shops and galleries, online, all that kind of stuff. And then I started teaching classes, which I absolutely loved. And I ended up starting the London Jewelry School, which was a big training centre we had in Hatton Garden in central London for around 13 years, where we trained over 40,000 jewellers. COVID sadly put an end to that, but luckily we had started Jewellers Academy, a community online for jewellers all across the globe, and that just grew and was thriving. And just over a year ago now, we opened Jewellers Academy Brighton, which has just been an incredible journey and experience. It's been wonderful having people together in person, making. It's such a beautiful community there. Everyone is so friendly and encouraging. And yeah, I missed the in-person classes. So Brighton is a great opportunity to bring it back. But I suppose I share a bit of that journey to just show that you can start a business if that's something you're interested in, and you never know where it's going to take you. You may end up making and selling jewelry. You may end up working for someone else. You may end up teaching jewelry making. You might do a mixture of all of the above. So the possibilities are endless, and we're here to support you on whatever journey you decide to take. And we also have people join the diploma who don't want to do any work in jewelry, but just want to make and learn and grow. And that is welcome as well. So yeah, do come let me know if you've made any jewelry before. I know Sam has, because we've made her make some jewelry. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear from Lisa and Megan and Hannah. If you get a chance, you might be doing other things at the same time. But what, if anything, you have made before, because I'm super curious. But like I said, you don't need to have made jewelry before in order to take this course. But there are many people who've been maybe done an evening course or done a one day or done bits and pieces and then are ready to sort of take the leap and do some training. So what I'll be covering in the session today is what the diploma is. I'll talk a bit about the level of support available. Most excitingly, I'll run through the projects that we'll be making together. I'll talk a bit about the tuition, and also if there's any questions, they will be answered too. So what is the diploma? It is a one-year program, and it is 1 day a week. So we have a couple of intakes coming up. We have an April starts, which is fast approaching, just on the other side of Easter, and that is on Mondays. So if you want to be really happy every Monday, that is going to be ideal. Or we have 3 intakes starting in September, which are for Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So you just do 1 day a week. You're not doing all the days. And that's the commitment. And then there are 3 terms a year. So we have, whenever you start, if you start in September, your first break will be over Christmas. So it roughly follows the school years here in the UK. And then you'll be back in January and you'll have a break over Easter. And then you'll be back after Easter and have a break over the summer. And if you start in April, which is coming up, it'll be the same. You'll still have the big break over the summer. So we follow the kind of school years. And it is a complete training in silver and gold jewelry. Even though it's called the Diploma in Silver Jewelry, we also cover working in gold, because as a jeweler, it's important that you can learn to make gold jewelry. And particularly, I'm quite passionate about jewelers learning how to make wedding rings and engagement rings, because they are always in demand. So people are always buying them, and there's a good profit margin on them. So if you are looking to start and grow a jewelry business, it's a really good way to bring some income into your business to be able to make these sort of bread and butter pieces. But also it's nice to be able to work with silver and gold, because you can mix the metals. And yeah, it's just kind of gives you more options. And also I love gold, so just got to throw that in there. And like I mentioned before, this course, it is aimed at people who want to start and grow a jewelry business, but it can also be somebody who has a passionate hobby, or they want to follow a career path and work for others. So over 2,000 students have already completed this program through Jewellers Academy from all over the world. And now you're invited to come and join us and be part of that wonderful alumni group. This picture is actually very representative of what a diploma group looks like. It's happy people in the studio, who just love making, all different walks of life, all different age groups, all different experiences coming together and just having the most fun and learning lots of things. So if you feel like that's kind of your vibe, you're probably in the right place. So in terms of materials, all of the materials that you need to complete your diploma are included in the cost of the course, which is really great value, because especially with the metal prices that have risen, we haven't increased our diploma prices. We've swallowed that for now. So there's all the silver that you're going to be needing, plus your gold, solder, all the bits and pieces, gemstones. Now, of course, you can, for your final project, which we'll talk about in a bit, you will need to source your own materials for that, unless you're using sort of scraps and bits and pieces. But that is just one project, and you can choose what metal you want to work with, and you can choose, kind of what budget you want to work to. So your metals will be worth over £1,200 throughout the course of the year, and you'll be building up a portfolio there as well. So I think what's really nice is just to know that that's all included. You don't have to spend any extra, and you'll have this incredible jewelry portfolio, which will be worth thousands by the end. And this is something I always kind of, tell people about is, yes, you've got the training, but you'll also have this collection of jewelry that you can sell that has inherent worth in the metals. So there's quite a lot that you'll be getting as a result of taking the program as well. In terms of tools, use of all tools is included because we have everything you need in the studio. Plus, we give you a starter kit when you get started, which is worth £300. So you'll have some tools to get started at home if you do want to do some practice in between. We don't expect you to practice at home. We will contain the course within the hours that you are with us. But of course, if you're anything like me and Sam, once you get started, you're going to want to do more. So we do give you a starter kit to take home and get going with as well. In terms of how you'll learn, you'll have the weekly lessons. So they are, like I said, 1 day a week. The classes are 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. and you get an hour break for lunch in the middle. And you'll also be given a comprehensive set of class notes for each course, which will help support your learning. So you can take those, you'll have a portal where you can access them. So you can either print them or you can keep them online and just have them for reference whenever you need them. And then you'll have a mentor. So you'll be assigned a mentor at the beginning of the course, and they will do some one-to-ones with you throughout the course of the program. Now, the mentoring is a really important part of the diploma programs because, as well as learning and developing and growing, you'll have someone who is your contact, who you can ask questions, you can get support, you can build a relationship with. And the marking is not meant to be scary at all, but it's all about giving you feedback on your work. So to have someone look at what you've been making, and we do this at the end of each term, the tutor will look at everything you've done in term one and will give you some feedback and say positive things, but also something that you could work on if you wanted to improve it next time. So it might be, you've done an incredible job with this piercing. I love how you've created the shapes. But with the filing, if you used a special compound, it would get an even softer, smoother finish. So the feedback is really helpful for knowing exactly what you're missing and how you can improve your own skills. And what's amazing, and what we see time and time again with our graduates from the diploma, is the amount they learn in a year is just incredible. It's like nothing I've seen before, because you're getting the tuition, you're showing up, you're doing the classes, but you're also getting that one-to-one feedback and support, which is quite unique. So the mentors are lovely, very passionate, very supportive, and you'll get to know yours throughout the course of the year. Then, so in your weekly lessons, like I mentioned, you'll have one a week. There'll be 10 till 5. Everything's provided. We have an incredible team of expert tutors. So you'll be learning from a range of different tutors who are all experts in the area that you're learning from. And there are a maximum of 8 students per class. So it's really small groups, which means you'll get to know each other. You'll have a lovely little community, but you'll also get to know the tutors, and you'll get one-on-one time with them whenever you need. So 8 is a really nice number. Once it goes beyond that, it starts feeling like a different kind of group dynamic. But you'll always be able to kind of get the tools, get the support, everything, so that you can just focus on learning and crack on with developing your skills. So let's have a look at a few of the mentors. We have a team of mentors, but the ones that are working at the moment include the wonderful Eleanor. So Eleanor runs her own jewelry business. She works with us at Jewellers Academy Brighton, and she teaches a lot of the classes. She is passionate about sand casting, so she does a lot of her own practice in sand casting. All of the jewellers that work with us are professional jewellers, so they're running their own jewelry businesses alongside teaching, which I think is great for our students, because you get to gain from their experience what's working, how did they set up their business, all this kind of stuff you can ask them about and get support around as well. But what I love about Eleanor is she's so down to earth. She's so encouraging. She's super friendly, and she just wants people to learn and do the best. She worked before us. She worked in London at a jewelry store there, doing a lot of cleaning up castings, kind of supporting the jewelry business. And then she moved to Brighton just about the same time as we opened Jewellers Academy Brighton. And she was one of the first tutors to come on board. She helped us set up the school. And yeah, she has a great range of knowledge in all the different areas that are covered in the diploma in silver. And the other mentor on the diploma in silver at the moment is the wonderful Maroz. So Maroz also joined us at the beginning of our journey at Jewellers Academy Brighton. She is one of our most experienced and advanced tutors that we have. She also teaches on the diploma in fine jewelry, which is the year after this course. And her work is just stunning. You can see some of her pieces here. She specializes in enamel jewelry, but she can do everything. So she's incredible at stone setting. Yeah, very advanced. She used to work in the Birmingham Jewelry Quarter, and she's worked a lot in the trade for many years. So pretty much everything I ask her to do, she's like, yep, I can do that. I'm on it. And again, Maroz is, I think as a mentor, Maroz is incredible to learn from because of her level of skill and precision that she brings to things. And she really wants her students to learn things that are going to help them in the fullness of time, in the long run. So she'll always help correct anything that's not going quite right and give some really good guidance. She's another great person to learn from. We do have some other mentors as well, but that's just to give you an idea of the kind of people that you'll meet. But I think what's similar across all of our mentors is they are very encouraging. They're very supportive. They're not critical, because I know that learning something new can be hard and a bit intimidating. And I know for me, when I go on jewelry courses, if somebody's mean to me, I almost want to cry, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying so hard. This is so difficult when you're learning something new. So for me, it was always really important to have someone who's supportive and encouraging, but also can give the feedback. And that's what we do here, which is lovely. So in terms of where you'll learn, I'd love to know if you guys have been to Jewellers Academy Brighton before. Come and let me know. I can also see in the chat, Megan says, I make and sell jewelry with wire and beads. I've also done your silver stacking rings day course. Ah, amazing, Megan. So you have been to Jewellers Academy Brighton. So you'll know the environment. But for anyone listening, either live or in the recording afterwards, it is a beautiful studio. It is, if I do say so myself, it's we wanted to create a dream jewelry school, and I think we've done that. It's in the heart of Brighton. It's just moments from the pier. We've got 3 large teaching studios. There's a gallery. It's all on one floor. There's also a maker's space because we have resident jewelers there who are running their jewelry business from there. So they are in most days making collections, making pieces, developing, practicing. Many of them have done diplomas with us already, but some of them have just come and joined us as resident jewelers. So there's always jewelers around, and there's always people to chat to. There's also a lovely kind of kitchen area where you can sort of relax and have your lunch breaks. So tea and coffee is always available. Snacks are always available. These things are important when you're learning in person, so that you have space. But yeah, it's just a beautiful space, loads of tools, every tool you could ever want and imagine. A dream kind of jewelry setting. And what's really lovely, and was really lovely for me, is to have beautiful natural light and big windows, because a lot of jewelry workshops are little dungeons. I came from London, where we were in Hatton Garden and everything was underground and like hidden, and you're lucky if you got like a little tiny bit of daylight. So it's a real luxury for jewelers to have a space like this. And if you haven't been, definitely come visit us. You're very welcome to come for a day or pop in. We're open 7 days a week, and super welcoming and friendly. And then Brighton itself is lovely. It's a beautiful location. There's lots of nice places to go get lunch. If you're with us anytime over the summer, then you're in for a treat, because hopefully, fingers crossed, there's good weather. You can pop down to the seaside for your lunchtime. if you guys, so we're mostly focused today on the 1 year diploma in silver jewelry, but we also run this as a 7-week intensive. So if you're listening and thinking, oh my gosh, I'd love to learn that, but I want to learn it quicker, I can't wait a whole year. The 7-week intensive is also very popular. We're running those in the summertime. And lots of people come and they stay in Brighton either the whole time or they'll just stay for the week. I know that one of you are in Eastbourne, which isn't too far, so you could definitely travel each day. But yeah, depending on where you are, you can stay over, you can travel backwards and forwards. But it's just a beautiful location, very vibrant and full of creativity and color and joy. So we're very lucky to be around there. So key benefits of the diploma program, I think what people really gain from it over and above, say, doing just a general class somewhere is the structure. So when we're talking about the year-long program, you've got every week you're learning something new, you're developing your skills, you've got accountability built in because we've got marking, you've got the mentorship. So you're really guided and supported around this idea of incremental learning. So when you look at what someone can do at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, it can be quite overwhelming and you think, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to do that. That's really advanced. There's no way I can do that. But because we build week on week, and we've been doing these diplomas for a long time, so we've learned so much from the students who've come before you guys in terms of what people need, what helps. Each week we just add something a little bit more and a little bit more, a little bit more until you look back and you realize, oh my goodness, I've actually done so much. And that's why we love the diploma so much, because we get to see that journey. We get to see you go through it. And it's really rewarding for us as well, as tutors, as mentors, as people at school, to be part of that very special journey. So there's the structure and the accountability. You're being marked, so you're getting that kind of feedback loop, which really helps to propel your growth much faster than doing general classes on your own. Like I mentioned, we've got the small class sizes, which are really helpful. It is a diploma, so it is certified and it is recognized. And the making is the key focus. So there is very little written work. I think there's like a paragraph that you need to write at the end about your final pieces so that we can understand what they are. But pretty much you'll just be at the bench each week making stuff. And if you think about something like a degree or a different kind of program, there's a lot of additional paperwork that needs to be done, which takes away from learning the skills that you actually need as a jeweler. So lots of things to be gained. All right, let's take a little look at the curriculum. So we start off with term 1, which, as I said, will either start in April if you're joining us for that one, or we'll start in September. So week 1 is all about getting those essential bench skills. So this is soaring, drilling, and filing. So you will learn how to pierce out shapes if you've not done it before. If you are already a jeweler and you've done bits and pieces, this will be a great refresher. So it's learning how to work with the jeweler's saw. If you can saw and you can file and you can drill and you can solder, which we're going to come to in future weeks, that solves most of the problems of everything you'll need to do in any jewelry piece ever. So we're really kind of starting with the basics and making sure we've got them strong. So you'll be doing some piercing. There'll also be a bit of an induction this day, get you used to the studio, get you comfortable, and just get kind of settled in with our making. Then week 2 is called the Silver Jewellery Workshop. And in this week, you'll be making a silver ring. So you'll be doing soldering for the first time. You'll learn how to make one of these beautiful classic rings, and you'll also make a pendant. So having had a go at piercing the week before, you'll be ready to kind of take it up and add some soldering in. Again, still getting used to the workshop, still getting used to each other, but starting to make some pieces. So you'll have a couple of pieces finished by the end of week 2. Week 3 is the soldering masterclass. So like I mentioned before, there's some fundamental skills that help in all of your jewelry making and training to be a jeweler. So we've covered piercing, which is sawing. We've covered filing, we've covered drilling, but week 3 is all about soldering. So soldering is something that people often get a bit nervous about when they're still new in their jewelry making journey. I know for me, it took me a number of years before I felt like, oh yeah, I can solder whatever you need me to solder, because sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't, and it could be super frustrating. So what's really nice about this week is it's a whole day just on soldering. So there's not really any pressure to finish any perfect piece of jewelry. It's just solder, 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 solder. And by the end of the day, you feel very confident in your soldering. So we talk you through different types of soldering and show you how to do it. So you'll learn how to do something called sweat soldering, which is where you solder two flat pieces together. You'll learn how to solder jump rings, which are little hoops that connect your jewelry so you can make a bit of chain. You'll learn how to solder an earring post back onto an earring. You'll learn how to solder a D-shape ring on the back of a piece, which could be like a pendant. That's how you hang a lot of pieces. And you'll also learn how to create a 3D shape, which has multiple solder joints. So all of that is technical training to really increase your soldering skills. So it's like it says, it's a soldering masterclass. Week 4 is more soldering because we really want you to be confident at soldering. This is the Jewelry Bench Skills Project, which is sometimes known as the Jigsaw Project. Now, I won't lie, it is a little bit infamous, but you can do it 100%. So what happens is you start with 2 sheets of metal, so brass and copper, and you can do a jigsaw, but we'll probably be doing a kite. It's a little bit easier, still challenging. So the kite project, which is where you will cut a straight line. So it will test your skills for cutting a straight line. And you need to match and marry the different metals. So you'll be cutting, piercing, you'll be putting them together, you'll be filing them to make sure they match perfectly. And then you'll be helping the solder to flow all across the line. You'll also do some polishing and finishing. Once you've done this, everything else you do going forwards will be easier. So it's a little bit like you're training. Like if you're training for a marathon, this is like your boot camp. So it is a challenging day, but it's totally achievable. And we'll be there with you and you'll be there with each other. But the great thing about this is once you've done it, everything feels a lot easier. And so it just, again, really propels those skills forward. And this project is the kind of thing back in the olden days when we used to train as apprenticeships next to like a master jeweler. This is the kind of thing they'd get you to do. But it really increases those skills. So it's worth it. We only make you do it once, so it's not so bad. And you don't have to do any of these pieces perfectly. It's just about having a go, learning and developing. Week 5 is the intermediate silver jewelry week. So you'll make a spinner ring and a domed necklace. This is really fun because we're getting into some proper jewelry making now. So a spinner ring, both of these are all about doming. So you'll be working with doming punches. You'll learn how to dome metal, dome regular metal, dome textured metal. Here you can see a picture of various different spinner rings, or sometimes they're called fidget rings. They're very popular, very kind of commercial, but just so fun and satisfying to make as well. And then the lentil necklace, which I love, is you dome 2 flat sheets of metal, solder them together, and it makes a little kind of satisfying bead necklace thing, and you can texture them and add your own details. So yeah, and all of these pieces you'll be working on polishing and finishing them and creating a professional finish in your work as well. Which brings us on to week 6, which is the polishing and finishing week. I love this week because I think it makes such a difference. So I often say to jewelers that are training, the difference between a professional jeweler and what looks like an amateur jeweler is the polish and finish. So that final stage, and that final stage can take as long as all the other stages combined. Sometimes polishing and finishing is the biggest part of jewelry making. Not always, but sometimes. So this week you'll be guided through an exercise to learn how to create different finishes on metal, from a mirror finish to a satin finish to a frosted finish to different textured finishes. And you'll also get to play a bit with different surface metal techniques like liver of sulfur or patina. So we're really, again, just showing you everything you need to be able to polish and finish your work however you want to. You'll work with pendant motors or micro motors, which is a rotary tool that spins round, and there's lots of little tools that go into it that can help with your polishing. You'll learn how to how to create those different finishes, and you'll also learn how to correct any mistakes in the polishing and finishing stage. So sometimes there's bits of solder that you need to clean up, sometimes there's bits of fire stain. So it's all about the polishing and finishing, because going forwards we're going to be doing that at the end of each piece. Then we move on to some stone setting, which is very exciting. So week 7 is the first of many stone setting weeks. So this is the cabochon setting. So a cabochon is a type of stone that has a flat bottom and a curved top, like the one you can see on the left here. So you'll learn how to create a setting for the stone using bezel, wire, and also sheet, and you will learn how to set the stone and make a professional piece with a stone setting in. The following week, which is kind of a follow-on, you will learn 2 types of settings, which is a tube setting and a flush setting. So on the left-hand side, you can see the flush setting. This is a really beautiful setting and a very popular one. It's a great way to add like a pop of color to your jewelry. So as the name suggests, you are working with a faceted stone, which is a pointed bottom stone, not a flat bottom one like the cabochons. So we're working with faceted stones now, and the stone will sit flush with the metal, which means it looks like it's just floating in that metal. And yeah, really satisfying once you've kind of got the hang of it, and a lovely way to add a pop of color to your silver or gold pieces. Then on the right, we're going to be doing some tube setting. Tube setting is another really fun setting. And as the name suggests, you start with a tube of silver or whatever metal you're working in. And again, a pointed bottom faceted stone, and you'll learn how to set the stone in there. And it's another really lovely way of adding stones to your work. You can put it in rings, pendants like the one you see here, earrings, all sorts. So yeah, really getting into the stone setting with those weeks. Then we move on to the cold connections week. So in this week, you'll be making a hinge and also working with rivets. So this is a bit more looking at construction. It's a bit more of a technical challenge, but again, we're taking the skills that you've learned. You're already masters at soldering by this point, so you're ready for the challenge, and you'll make a little booklet that opens and closes, like you can see on the left hand side with the hearts. Well, they're both hearts, but that's a really lovely kind of not quite a locket, but it's like a little booklet, and you'll learn how to do the hinge on the side. And then for the rivets are a lot of fun. They're a great way of combining pieces. So you can see there's 2 metals here. There's a brass and a silver heart, and they kind of move. So it's useful for creating kinetic jewelry or movement pieces. And it's also great, as the name suggests, with cold connections if you're working with alternative materials as well. So if you wanted to add in something that can't be heated, so wood or a feather or leather or fabric or whatever, you could include that with a rivet, because it is done through pressure and hammering, not through heat. So yeah, getting through lots. Then week 10, we move on to wax carving. So for anyone who doesn't know, wax carving is a very traditional way of making metal jewelry, silver, gold, all sorts. And how it works is you create the piece in wax. So it's softer, it's more affordable, it's easier to kind of manipulate. It's great for creating 3D shapes and organic forms. And then the piece is then sent away to a casters, where they cast the piece and it comes back in metal. So it's how a lot of jewelry is made. So you will learn the basics of wax carving, and you will make a ring and a pendant. And that brings us to the end of term 1. So you can see there's a lot covered already. And then at the end of each term, we have a workshop week. So this is an opportunity for you to catch up on anything that you've missed, if you've been away or you've been unwell, or you've just not quite finished any of the projects or you want to finish them off. Don't worry, there is time at the end to catch up. So you'll have your workshop week there. And then the week after is your marking day. So because you're in groups, you'll be given a time slot so you can come in and work on your pieces as well. And you'll meet with your mentor and you'll be given feedback and support ready for going into next term. Nothing to worry about. The marking day, totally chill. Term 2 is the professional term. So we kick it off as we mean to go on with wedding ring making for clients. So this class is all about training you as the jeweler to make wedding rings for your clients. And that includes making the rings, but also talking to them about things like ring sizing, different types of metals, helping them make decisions, coming up with quotes. So it's all about being able to provide that service for your clients. So you will make one gold ring and one silver ring. And you'll make one that is a general kind of classic wedding band and one that is a wishbone shape. So wishbone is great because it can go underneath an engagement ring. So generally speaking, men have just a straight band because they don't have an engagement ring. But for women, a lot of the time we need a wishbone or something that kind of fits around the engagement ring. So you'll learn how to do that as well. And I love a wishbone ring. They're really beautiful. So it's a fun one to learn to make anyway. Week 2, we have sea glass jewelry. So this is taught by the wonderful Kelly Twigg. She is our resident sea glass expert. So she will come along for the day and teach you guys how to do a cabochon or kind of like a rub over setting in sea glass jewelry. She'll also talk you through, and if there's time, show you how to make a claw setting in sea glass. But sea glass is really popular, and anyone who lives by the coast may enjoy beach combing and finding bits of sea glass. But I think what's really nice about this is learning how to work with irregular shapes and irregular forms, because we've done some stone setting already, but it's all been quite round so far and simple in terms of the shape of the stone. But not every stone that you fall in love with or that you want to set is going to be like that. So if you can set sea glass, you can set anything because it's just totally random how it comes out. So it presents some interesting challenges. And Kelly's a really experienced jeweler. She packs her classes with hints and tips around all different types of jewelry making. So you'll be learning lots as you go. Hopefully you guys are still with me. There's lots in this diploma. We're rolling through them. So week 3 is more stone setting, and this is the irregular cabochon week. So I love this week because I love irregular cabochons. So we started off, our first setting was a cabochon, but it was round or oval. So now we're looking at working with points. So for example, a pear shape you can see here, or a square or a rectangular. We need to make sure that we can get a really nice setting around the points. So that's what's going to be covered this week, is how to create a beautiful irregular setting and turning it into a finished piece of jewelry. So a nice fun one as well. Then we come back for some more wax carving, and this time we are doing some stone setting in wax. So wax is brilliant for all types of stone setting, and you'll learn 2 key stone setting projects. You'll learn how to do a cabochon setting, which we've been talking about so far. And you can see on the picture here on the left-hand side, there's a ring with a beautiful little cabochon in the middle. And there's a couple of just sample cabochon settings as well. And then on the right-hand side, there's a ring with a sort of like a tube or a flush setting. So there's a few different options for that one. But what's really nice about this is learning how to work with the wax, how to seat the stones, and how to create a piece that is from wax but can be cast, and the stones can be set later. Week 5 is collet setting. So this is where this is like halfway through the course. So things are starting to ramp up and it gets exciting. So collet setting is a beautiful setting. It's really nice if you like quite a thick piece of metal around the stone. I love collet settings. I've always loved them. I just think they're so luxurious. And this could be a really nice kind of cocktail ring or even an engagement ring. So you'll learn how to create a round collet setting and how to set that into a band and create a professionally finished piece polished and finished, all stone set. And yeah, I just think it's another step up in your stone setting journey to be able to work with collets. And of course, we're just doing one, but once you've done one, you know how to do multiples. So, and I think at this point is when people start thinking about their final project and what they might be interested in doing and what kind of, how they want to take things. Do they want to do lots of stone setting? Do they want to do more construction? What's their vibe? But yeah, I love the collet setting week. And I think people really start to feel like a jeweler at this point as well. Like they're like, oh my gosh, I made that from scratch. So yeah, very rewarding. Week 6 is all about how to launch and grow a jewelry business. So this week you'll be guided by somebody running a jewelry business about how they set up and how they run. And we'll cover all the basic topics like how to get going, looking at things like insurance, hallmarking, looking at pricing your jewelry. We'll look a bit at marketing and just generally getting started, because when you're starting a jewelry business, it can be a little overwhelming. There's lots to do. But we always just say it's one thing at a time and we just chip away at it. But it's really nice if you're wanting to start and grow a jewelry business to do that alongside your diploma, especially if you're doing the year-long one, because obviously there's a lot of time in between. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of other things that you've got to do in life, but even just an hour a week, just chipping away at things, taking pictures, sharing your journey, starting to build up a customer base. I would say don't wait until all your jewelry is perfect to launch a jewelry business, because you may wait a long time until you feel like it's all ready to go. But just get going, get started, start building things as you go, and then it will your business and your making skills will grow together. And that's how I've seen it work the best. But that week is all dedicated to helping you develop and grow a jewelry business. Then we move on to week 7 and 8, which is making the trinket box. And students love this. It's the only piece that isn't actually a piece of jewelry, but it really helps with your jewelry making skills. Again, it's another technical challenge. I think what's different about this week is you're working on a slightly larger scale. So you're working with bigger torches. Don't worry, we'll be there to support you. And also there's construction. So the lid needs to fit. You want that satisfying noise when it clicks in. You can also choose your own design for your trinket box. And I think they're just very satisfying. And to know that you could make that, it's a kind of a silversmithing skill. Again, just strengthens all of those foundational skills that we're trying to build. The stone setting, well, if you put a stone in it, but the soldering, the filing, the polishing, all of those things. So a satisfying couple of weeks. And that one takes 2 weeks. So we've got a bit more time because it's a bigger project. Then week 9, working with gold. People love this week. And you can see why, because yes, we're working with gold and we're making a stunning set of stacking rings. And I think what's nice is by this point, this is almost easy. You're like, of course I can make a set of stacking rings in gold. But what we're working on here is learning how to work with gold, learning how the gold works. It's slightly different to silver. We're also going to do some stone setting in gold. We're going to be working with a gold nugget and creating this beautiful kind of finished stacker set. And 9 carat is what we're working with. And it is a little bit tougher than working with silver. So it's getting used to that, especially for the stone setting, but also how to mix the metals. So if you see the third band down, it's a silver band with beautiful gold setting. And I think what's nice is we can see how we can add touches of gold to our jewelry without necessarily having to make all of it gold. So that kind of mixed metal element is really beautiful. And again, people often sell a lot of these when they're making them. So show it to your friends, show it to people you know. And most of the time someone will be like, oh my gosh, please make me a set. I would love that. So very commercially kind of desirable too. Week 10 is a little bit different. So this week is all about jewelry design and drawing. So as a jeweler, it's important to be able to express your ideas to clients and to yourself, and also to brainstorm. So we will encourage you throughout the course of the diploma to keep a sketchbook, to write things down, to draw things, whatever works for you. You don't need to be good at drawing, so do not worry. Often when we say this week, people are like, oh no, I'm not good at drawing. Don't worry, don't need to be good at drawing. It's totally fine. But it's just a way of expressing yourself, expressing your ideas. It's like doodling almost. I think that's what I do. It's more of a doodle than a professional draw. But this week you will learn how to do technical drawing, and that's using graph paper, and it's about being able to technically show the size of something. So this is great. For example, if somebody said they want you to make their engagement ring and you want to show them the stones that you had in mind and how they will fit together, and you want to express that, this is really good because it shows them scale. It shows them how the stones will look in relation to each other, where they will sit on the band, that kind of thing. It's also really useful if you ever went into jewelry manufacturing or you wanted to have your pieces made, is you would send them a technical drawing of, and a technical drawing shows 3 different angles. So it shows the side, it shows the top, and it shows the other side. I'm not very good at saying it, but you know what I mean, the different angles. So that is something that you will learn how to do. But also it's a very creative session. Feels a bit like being in an art class for the day because we have lots of mood boarding. We get you to do collages. We get you to just explore what you want to make. And with all your newfound jewelry knowledge, what kind of collections you might be interested in creating. So it's a really fun and creative day. Then we have our workshop day, followed by our marking day, which brings us into term 3, the final term. So we start off gently with some fun. This is the chain making week. So you'll learn how to make 3 different types of handmade chain, and you will make a completed bracelet in a chain of your choice. So we'll look at creating different shaped jump rings, working with different designs, something organic or something quite structured. We'll also look at how to make clasps so that you can have a finished, beautiful chain that you've made. Very satisfying to make your own chain. Of course, if you're getting like a little trace chain like I'm wearing here, you would never make this. It's just not worth it. You know, it would drive you nuts and it doesn't cost that much. But when you've got chunky chains or like interesting shapes or beautiful designs, I think they are incredibly satisfying to be able to have and make your own chain. So that's something you'll learn to do and we'll get to do together. Then we move on to our claw setting. So this is our first of a number of claw setting classes. This is like an introduction to claw setting, and you will make a claw set ring, which again is like an engagement style ring. So this is working with tube and also wire. So you'll learn how to solder on the claws, make the ring, seat the stone and set the stone. And again, a really satisfying project. And I love claw setting. It's just beautiful. I think it shows off the stone in the best light because it allows a lot of light into the stone, unlike some of the rub over stones, which I also love those settings. They create a richness, but I think with claw setting, it's more delicate. There's more light coming into the stone, which means they shine brighter. So again, a very classic kind of way to set a stone. So you will be learning that one. And then we'll be working with cast settings. So lots of jewelers. So you can learn how to create your own claw setting, which we saw in the week before, which you'll learn how to do. But it takes quite a bit of time to create a claw setting. And if you've got a stone that is a standard size, then you can actually buy settings, which are called cast settings, and set the stone from there. So for this week, you're going to make this beautiful project with a big pear setting in the middle, 2 around either side on the shoulders, and a completed ring. So we're moving on to almost fine jewelry at this point. But you'll be working with pre-made settings. So you'll be given the settings. So it's all about cleaning them up, soldering them together, and setting the stones and creating the finished piece. So in some ways it's easier and in some ways it's harder, but it's a different challenge and something that is really fun to explore and learn. Then week 5 is granulation. So you'll learn how to do granulation in both silver and gold. And we teach the soldering granulation technique. There's a number of ways that you can do granulation. So granulation is creating tiny little balls of metal and placing them together to create texture, to create interest. It's really popular. You've probably seen it in lots of places, but you'll be making a ring with a tube setting in the middle that you can see here, and you'll be adding your granules of silver onto your piece. And this one has a few little gold bits as well. So it does test your patience because you've got to have a bit of a steady hand, but there's a few different techniques and ways that you can learn to do it. And it's very satisfying. Many jewelers who take the course go on to do a lot more granulation afterwards. So I'm excited for you guys to have a go at it as well. Week 6 is a very important week because this is all about learning how to recycle your silver jewelry. Now, most of you will probably know, if you're interested in jewelry, that the price of silver has gone up massively over the last few years, which means it's more important than ever that we can use every bit that we have, recycle every bit that we can. So you'll learn how to use a crucible, which is the dish that you can see here, and a torch to melt down any bits of scrap or any bits of silver that you don't want to use anymore, and recreate it into sheet metal or wire that you can use again. So a really important skill for that week. Then our final project that you'll be taught in the year is the classic solitaire ring, which you can see here. And I think what's really lovely about this is it's quite an advanced piece. And if you think about at the very beginning, where you started with piercing and creating a simple silver band, this is really shows the progress that you're able to make over the year. So you'll be making this setting from scratch. It's a double gallery setting, which means that underneath the stone, there are 2 galleries holding it in place. What's special about that is it allows more light into the stone, which means it reflects even more, making it even more sparkly. And you'll also learn how to make a tapered band. So it's a really professional finish on your final piece of jewelry. And this is a classic engagement ring. So that kind of wraps up the teaching for the year. And then you'll have a few weeks to make and complete your final project, which is a piece of your choice, which combines 3 different techniques you've learned throughout the year. But you'll work with your mentor before then to kind of plan what you're going to be making and get ready and order all your materials and bits and pieces. And that is the curriculum. So well done, you got through it all. There's loads in there. There really is a lot. So you can really see how you train as a professional jeweler in 1 year, going through all the different elements. In terms of how the marking works, I think I've shared that a bit already, but you'll meet with your mentor at the end of each term. You'll have an hour or so together. They will have your pieces before, so they'll have a look at them. They'll put them through a marking criteria. You will be given the marking criteria each week, so you know what you're going to be marked on. My advice would be, don't worry too much about the marking criteria. Just have fun, just learn, and just make. In order to pass the diploma, you only need a 60%. So it is not, you don't need 100%, you don't need 90, you don't need 80. It's not about being perfect, because we know that when you're making these pieces, it's the first time you've ever made them before. So we do not expect perfection. It's just about going on your own journey, learning, developing, growing, and your mentor will be there within the marking to help you with that as well. So you'll sit down with your mentor, they'll talk you through your marks, they'll share the feedback, and that's it. And you will have your diploma at the end of the year. If you miss a week, then you can usually catch it up with us. We do run a lot of the classes individually, so we will do our best to make sure that we can find a time for you to catch up. But if you can't, like I said, you only need a 60% rate to pass. So if, obviously we hope that you come every week and that you can do it all, but we know that life happens, and through the course of the year, people can be unwell, holidays, things can come up. So don't worry, it is absolutely fine. You will still get everything that you need. In terms of who the diploma is for, it's for beginners and improver level jewelers. But if you're not sure, you can always come and chat to us one-to-one as well. And the question I ask people who are thinking about joining us is, where do you want to be a year from now? And if you want to be making pieces like the ones that I've shown you If you'd like to have all those skills under your belt, if you'd like to have that portfolio to show your customers, to show people that you might want to work with, then this is going to be the course for you, and we would love to help you get there. In terms of the course fees, we haven't increased the fees this year, which is brilliant because a lot of things have gone up this year, but we've committed, at least for this year, to keep them as they are. So everything included is £5,497, which is brilliant value for the training that is offered and what you get. This includes over £1,000 worth of materials and over £300 worth of your toolkit. So it is everything included that you need. There are payment plans available as well. So of course, there's always the option to pay in full, which some people do up front. But if you do need to spread the cost, it is 12 monthly installments of £459. But you do need to start this 4 months before the course starts. If you're planning on starting the course in April, which is starting very soon, and you'd like to work out a payment plan with us, just get in touch because we can usually do something to help spread the cost as well. But yeah, we never want money to be the reason why someone can't get involved and join a diploma. So if you need help spreading the cost, just get in touch and I'm sure we can work something out together. So if you're interested, enrollment is open now. You can go ahead and share on the link. You can go ahead and enroll on the link that Sam has shared. You don't need to do anything more. You can just sign up. We will welcome you into the studio. We'll send you all the info ahead of time, and we'll be very excited to have you. And we also have a special bonus because we like to reward people who've come along to these kind of sessions. So if you do join a diploma in the next 2 weeks, so you have a little bit of time to think about it, you'll also be enrolled on the Jewelry Business starter kit for free. So this is an online program we have, which is worth £500, just under £499. And this is a self-paced course to help you start your jewelry business from scratch. So it actually covers 4 different courses in the starter kit. There's one course called 20 Days to Start Your Jewelry Business, which guides you through one action to take each day for 20 days. And by the end of the 20 days, you have a jewelry business up and running. So that is brilliant for anyone who's starting out and wants to build a business. There's also a wonderful course on how to photograph your jewelry using a smartphone. This is taught by Karen Young, who is a professional jewelry photographer and a jeweler. Brilliant program, which I definitely recommend taking. There is a Pricing Your Jewelry for Profit masterclass, which will guide you through how to price your jewelry. And there's also a wonderful course called Marketing Your First Year in Business, which is exactly what it sounds, which is what do you do the first year in a jewelry business in terms of marketing? And it's a step-by-step guide. So the business starter kit is wonderful. I always recommend diploma students get it because it goes really nicely alongside the diplomas. The diplomas are all about developing your making skills, and this is all about helping you with the business side of things. But like I said, if you do join us in the next 2 weeks, you will get this for free, which is a brilliant offer as well. And if you guys want to have a chat with us one-to-one, because we do know that it's a commitment joining a diploma program, we're always happy to have a chat. There's no pressure. It's just about coming on a call with one of us and talking through your own individual circumstances. Then you can book a discovery call, and Sam has posted a link in the chat to that as well. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. But finally, I'm just going to share some images from our previous diploma students' work because we're super proud of them. They've done such a great job. So these are some final projects. So this was one of our students. It's a ring. It's a beautiful ring. It's got a lovely bezel setting in the middle. There's a couple of tube settings. There's some granulation. There's a few touches of gold in there as well. And it's a beautiful kind of shape to the ring. So that was created at the end of one of the previous diplomas. Here's another lovely one. And yeah, again, mixing metals, a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver, some stone settings. This one is really beautiful as well. This shows great use of granulation, primarily a gold ring. And there's a claw setting in there and there's a tube setting. So we're mixing different settings. We're adding granulation, lots of rings being made. This one is a bangle. So it's actually quite big. You can't always tell from the picture, but it's been pierced out in sheet metal. Again, lots of lovely settings in there. A big one in the middle, which is like a collet setting, then 4 tube settings around the edge. And what I love is that people make such different things. So all these people have done the same course, but they end up with such different final projects. This one was really beautiful. This is the mermaid tail one. So you can see around the edge, it's all these lovely mermaid tails. And again, lots of granulation and a beautiful kind of wavy stone setting in the middle. And I also wanted to share about a couple of our graduates. We have so many graduates now who are doing incredible things, but just a couple of them. This is Alice Catherine. She runs her own jewelry business, Alice Catherine Jewellery, in the Scottish Highlands, and she completed the diploma in silver jewellery with us. And you can see some of her gorgeous pieces here. She went on to start and grow her own jewellery business. She now has a shop. And she employs, I think, 3 or 4 people there. So she's got quite a scalable operation. Her passion was, to start and grow a jewelry business, which is exactly what she's done. And she's very inspiring how she started on the diploma and then went on to start her business and has just gone from strength to strength in all the pieces that she's been making and selling. And we have the wonderful Emily Lisbeth. So Emily completed all 3 diplomas with us. She did the silver diploma, which we've been talking about today. Then she went on to do the diploma in fine jewelry, which is the 2nd year. And then the 3rd year is the advanced diploma. So she trained with us for 3 years, and she's an incredible jeweler. She also has her own jewelry workshop. She teaches jewelry making. She sells bespoke pieces, one-off commissions. You can see some of her beautiful work here. So just a quick snapshot into the kind of things that people go on to do. Many of our graduates go on to start their own jewelry businesses and or have thriving jewelry careers. So it's lovely to be part of that journey. And the next step after this course would be joining the diploma in fine jewelry, which we can talk about afterwards, one step at a time. But it's nice to know that there's progression, and the diploma in fine jewelry is just the next step. So it's more advanced stone settings, more intricate work, carrying on that journey of making. And a question that we get asked a lot is, we say like, oh, I've looked at all of that and it looks wonderful and I'd love to do it, but what if I'm not good enough? What if I come along and I can't do it? Or just this general feeling of what if I'm not good enough? And I would say never let that get in the way of trying something new. It is our job to teach you, so you do not have to be good enough. Especially for this course, there is no entry requirement other than just wanting to do it. So do not worry about how good you are. It is, like I said before, everyone is on their own journey. And as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're learning and you're growing, that is all that we're here to do. And that's all we can ask for. So we will help you. You don't need to worry about that. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that you got something out of the session today. We can't wait to work together to create your future in jewelry. And if there are any questions, I'm very happy to answer them. But mostly we're just excited to get started with our next group of students and to get training and to get growing and developing together. It's a really wonderful course, and I'm confident that you will enjoy it. So looking forward to seeing some of you guys on there soon. Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you guys. I don't think there are any questions, were there, Sam? No, we've got a group of just taking it in, it's a lot to take in. So perhaps everything's been answered. But if you do have any questions afterwards, feel free to drop us a message. You can contact us. It's hello@jewellersacademybrighton.com. We're open 7 days a week, and we would love to help you. And if you want to come take a look around the studios, or you want to do a discovery call, just get in touch. We are here. Brilliant. Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming and being the support today. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully see some of you in the studio soon. All right, bye for now.